called rare elements. Coming to modeling, it came out, Abraham was making his presentation. I said, which equation did you use and what are the shortcomings? First question I asked, that any equation you use, what are the assumptions, right? So it comes down to finding your own equations. So scientifically, the best way to describe a system is to collect all variables. Do not ignore anything. And collect data from nature. So do not ignore any fact, any say, do not say this is negligible, that is negligible, it's too little. That's not your business. Collect everything that is relevant, including the intention of the person who knows. Everything, you collect them. Then you construct a so-called phenomenological description. You describe, well, if certain variable goes up, what happens to the other variables? From natural data. So you describe, and you will find out there is always oscillation. It's never linear, never ever linear, the relationship. So what happened? You end up writing a number of equations, all nonlinear. Anytime you have more than one variable affected, it becomes nonlinear. And we know even if it's a parable, like x squared plus bx plus c, you have how many solutions? 2, right? So what if you have cubic? You have 3 solutions. What if you have n? You have n solutions. But if you have linear, you have only one solution. And we love to have that. That's why every model that you use, any numerical model you use, they always come up with one solution. Does it ever come up with 2, more than 2, or 1, more than 1? Never. They give you one exact number. Isn't it true? Our research group is the first one who said, no, you have to expect several solutions, multiple solutions, because that's nature. If our description was perfect, 100%, only then we'll get 1. But your description is anything but perfect, you're saying you have 1. You see, if you have a prophet, you have one solution. You're saying a cult member is the prophet, and his solution is the correct solution, and the prophet's solution is the wrong solution. It comes to the same. So we take many solutions, we create a, what we call, cluster of points. Cluster. And we talk about a range of solutions. So this is expected behavior.
This isn't what already Monte Carlo simulation is doing, like it is giving a range.
Monte Carlo has inherent assumptions. You check it out, you'll be amazed. All of them have inherent assumptions, including, the word random number, right? What does random mean? You have no idea what the number came from, right?
Yes.
Is it random? Not at all.
No.
The guy who wrote the program knows exactly what the number is.
Yeah.
It's random to you.
Yeah, but that's called pseudo-random.
Random number is a mathematical term. You
Yeah.
in mathematics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why he's defending with pseudo number. But fact is, pseudo random is what?
Yeah. So it is.
It's an oxymoron. See, pseudo number is an oxymoron. So what? It's like pseudo falsehood.
False.
Like, where are you going? You see the point?
Yeah.
It's like artificial intelligence. What does it mean? Intelligence cannot be artificial. The definition of intelligence is real. Right? So we throw in all the numbers and you find out this is the latest research, quantum computing. Have you heard that? Right? This is the latest. Yet we are coming to that one, I said, this is the organic version. They're going this way, we're going upward. Because nobody does this. They try to get one solution, going through the same. So their solution is the cult leader, our solution is the Prophet Muhammad. And that's a very big research topic. I talked to Tassal about that. I don't know, he forgot. I was so excited. First day he has a mathematics degree and all this. I said, let's do it. And that is it.
But sir, is it possible to to have type of algorithm or something so that we can get a real random number?
Oh, you are stuck on random number? No. See, the moment you talk about an algorithm, you have in mind that it is based on
Function, a linear function.
function. What is it? Then you see the assumption behind it. What is algorithm anyway? What you are talking about is writing equations, phenomenological equations from observation, like Prophet Ibrahim did. But deductive logic always comes before inductive logic. And what is the deductive logic of Prophet Ibrahim? When he said, the moon, which one came first? Sun?
Yes.
Sun was rising.
No, first came the star.
Star. So here, there's an assumption behind it. Powerful, right? Who says powerful is Allah? That's the deductive logic.
Exactly.
Fortunately, we are born with deductive logic. Once you have, because that's our fitra, right? So we are born with that one. So Prophet Ibrahim did inductive logic, but what was the first assumption? That if it is bright, if it's powerful, then it's Allah. Only then he could conclude correctly. So what you are saying here, your first assumption is whatever you see in nature, right? That has the information, not anything artificial. So again, to do the algorithm, you have to say, I have to get something real. So what is random number in Quran? Where do you get the random number? What is chaos in Quran? It doesn't exist. Is there anything random in Quran?
No.
No. So that's why always go back to Quran. Say, oh, why am I looking for a random number when it doesn't exist? Right? But what is quite interesting, the bad guys are doing this research, and we forget that we can solve those problems, we can get similar technique to get correct result. It's like using artificial intelligence. Think about it. Using artificial intelligence to come to the correct conclusion. Why is it interesting? Because it will save you time. We're talking about how the correct decision is with Quran and Hadith. What better tool than artificial intelligence to find what Quran says, what Hadith says? We talk about ChatGPT and all these things, right? How fast and quickly they are coming. That information you can collect. Use them like robots, very fast. But then you have to tally with, before making your conclusion, what are the correct information in between. And that's why all the observation in nature, that has to come into play. Without that, you'd be relying on a robot. Motivation of research is very important. Has to be Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy Anil Munkar. You can't take research as a service. You're not doing a service. You're not doing a job. It's not a job. Your motivation has to be, I have to stop bad. I have to order, enjoy and good. That's your motivation. Even if I take money, it's like ruqya, right? You can take money, but it has to be halal. You cannot say I took money, therefore I compared with toxic A and toxic B, and the result of toxic B is better. And this is missing.
So
Nobody is
it means
motivated
that
by this.
even if you are paid, your research topic should be, you should address real problems in your
That's right.
research.
That's right.
But like nowadays,
No
like
one
even
does.
in this country, no one is going to pay for you.
Especially in this country.
Yeah.
Not even in this country.
So then,
You remember my
What options
my
do
research
we have?
topic, I mentioned that they wanted us to compare toxic A, toxic B, and I said, well, toxic B is less toxic, but real solution is olive oil. Nobody does that. Okay? So it's just one example. But the motivation, you have to be accountable. My job is not to make money and provide solutions for the government. My job is to do research and provide solutions that will benefit the humanity. Most importantly, to benefit me and my hereafter. Remember the hadith that says, if you stop a cycle and turn bad into good, from waste to value addition, you get the hasana until the day of judgment.
exactly.
And this is a very important one. Prophet Muhammad says, this is so profound. The most hateful statement to Allah is the man who says to another man, fear Allah. And the man says, mind your own business. What is it to you, brother? Right? I'm just trying to make a living. That's the most hated speech. But sadly, it's the most common speech these days. Say, brother, you are getting in trouble. Look at you. They will think you are a hobby. So keep it to yourself. You are telling me, oh, that's fine, but don't tell the government. This is what has defined our communist society now. So maybe the last slides, 2 slides. 2 things that, I mentioned that we will be writing proposals. In our drone project, we talked about it. Biggest liability is heavy,
Yeah.
right? So first thing that should come to your mind, that it has to be ultralight. How can you make it? These are very easy search, you can find out. They have ultralight materials, silica aerogel, carbon nanotube, aerographite, metallic foams. What it is, basically they're creating metal or solid objects with lot of air in it. And it turns out they are strong and very ultra-weight. So that's first objective. You want to make it ultra-light. But you also find out all of them are artificial. And by the way, all of them came from a Nobel Prize winning research. Because this is what they do. They do whatever they need, they do most artificial possible. Real science research in didactology is not done anymore. It stopped with Einstein's time. However, false does not. No theory is given any in value these days. They talk about application of what can make most money, even though there's no Nobel Prize for engineering. But that's what it is. So they are all artificial. So all focus should be what natural elements do to this. Or how, if they are artificially done, how we can turn that into natural. There is electric energy, we will use fire energy. Give an example. Laser, we talked about it. Strongest material. Again, in nature, everything is there, but again, Nobel Prize winning. Strongest materials we have is graphene. That graphene was Nobel Prize in 2006, I think. Anyway, all this go and you find out there's diamond, right? And this non-sterile.
That's right.
That's right. Yes, that one is similar to diamond but different structure. They're natural.
So there is lots of loans right here in Afghanistan.
You see the point? He's sitting there and you are saying, what is China doing? Let's copy what China is doing. This is the absurd part. So in nature you have it. So what you do, you study the science of that. You say, if I add something to it, right? If I process it with, say, another metal, even radioactive, maybe something new will come. Remember we talked about radioactive having some property. This is what it is about. Final slide. We talked about, in various times, we talked about sustainable explosive, right? It's okay if you want to make it, but can it be sustainable? We talk about imaging technology that will tell you how good the explosive is. Even the technique to track it can be natural.
So like there are explosion occurring in like if you talk about the galaxy and the supernova and it's exploding
Exactly.
stuff. Yes.
All the time.
So we can count it as
Even
explosion.
on Earth, constantly there's a heavy reactor going on underground. Constant explosion.
We can get idea from this process.
That's right. Guns is the simplest one, easiest one. You can make organic gun tomorrow. We have the technology. Projectiles the same way. Jamming techniques. We talk about radio does this and laser does this. How about using that natural one? So whoever did not submit the question, the research question, Abdullah included, give your research question please, because I would like to have that for my souvenir, and it will really help me because I'm going to propose next week new research projects to the administration. So please, when I name you, that means I'm expecting you to give the research questions. Okay? All the guys that I tagged. Thank you. Any question?